Hey YouTube, this is Apole from Kingdom 1252, and I'm going to start a new channel with a few videos. I'm going to break down the specifics for budget build castles. Now, budget build is going to be for people who spend very little money to moderate amounts. I'm going to say limited of like 30 bucks a month, if that. That's mostly going to be included in like the monthly pack with daily income of 1,000 gold added on that, with maybe a few packs here and there. But the topic recently in my alliance in the kingdom is we've been talking to each other about the best build or getting the best stuff for medium-sized castles. I'm sitting here at 27 and neighbored by my 28s, and we got 30s. But in our alliance, we do have many really powerful players. A lot of big spenders. 15 million there. Got a couple P5s sitting at 140 million. We got another one at 80 million. He's sitting farms right now. But key is, what's the question a lot of people have to ask is, like, when the P5 comes around in Kingdom Conquest and you get zeroed out by that P5, it's really draining. It kills the motivation, and it makes a lot of people just want to stop playing. For a lot of people, it's just real depressing, and it makes the game not fun. But with some few key facts here, I think I can still keep you in the game, keep it fun, keep it interesting. Because even though you may not spend a lot of money, and you're not going to have those 100 million power castles or more at P5, every player is important here. Now, you don't have to spend a lot of money to be important or to make an impact. And I broke it down into a few categories. Over the next couple videos, I'm going to go into more specifics. I've done a lot of research, some number crunching. I've talked to a lot of people. A lot of these facts can be really helpful. Some is going to be really well known. Some may not be known. Some people will do things differently. Some people have different breakdowns on how they like to do their setups with their castles. But whichever way you do it, this is a big community, and the best way. So a few things that are really important is sharing information. And with technology nowadays, almost everybody actually has the newest updates on their smartphones with Apples and Samsungs and HTCs and all that. Is actually able to make their own videos and upload them on YouTube actually fairly easily. And sharing information through this video, your voice command, is a really good way to show people exactly what you're talking about when you're pointing out a few key factors. Now, I broke it down into a couple categories for a budget building castles, or even anything. Just 4 categories that are really important to look at. First one, of course, being the money and the budget build that you've got. How much are you willing to actually spend on a castle? Like, how much do you actually want to invest in this game? How committed are you to it? Do you want to win, or you just play to, use your time? And that's something that you gotta look at personally, whether you can spare it or what's needed of you. But I'm going to say to focus on the budget builds, because I've been playing the game for a year and a half, and I can say that from experience, a lot of money can be easily wasted for little gain here. Like, it seems like so much in the short term when you get those packs. You expect a lot from it, but then you always seem to be a little out of reach of what you need or what you're trying to accomplish, and that can drain a lot out of you, especially if you invest a lot of money in something and then it just doesn't work out the way you want it to. A lot of that comes from a lack of knowledge in what you're actually getting out of the packs, how much you need. Buying castle skin packs really isn't going to get you anything useful, especially for those first few people who found out they had to buy 2 of those $99 packs to get the actual castle skin. I'm sure they weren't too happy about it when they first learned that. But let's say budget builds, I'm going to focus around not spending more than $30 to $35 a month, if that, or less. I'm going to go from free to $35. And 25 of that, I would assume some people would invest in the daily pack over in your port. It'll freeze up on me. So you can see from my background here that I'm obviously do it myself, kind of save as much money as I can. Alright, so we're breaking it down in through the expenses. You know, the $24 towards the 1,000 gold every day may seem like a little bit too much for a lot of free players, and that's fine. You know, a lot of the things there, you can get gold so easily from all the events now that it's really not necessary to buy those packs. But a lot of that's going to hinge on the alliance that you're in, which is going to be the next category I go into. The alliance is going to be whether you make it or break it in any kingdom, right? Your alliance needs to have a lot of really active people. Now I'm not saying that you got to have 100 people or 120 people, but what you need is at least some solid people who are going to spend the money to get, you know, to the top. Those players, key, are the ones that are going to shoot for the top prestige castles. They're going to have the max stats, and the ones that are really going to help you out in a time of need. Of course, you can't just sit back and rely on everybody to do all the work for you, but they also need your help too. For one, investing in the alliance science, you know, bringing the donations in, working on the alliance construction, all of that. That's important. And you know, there's some really big players out there who just go out there, spend all that money, and then act like they're the king, and they can't do it on their own. Some of them will try. Some of them may succeed in taking thrones on their own, but it's a team building game, team building effort, and you have to have that teamwork there. Without it, you're not going to be successful. Some key things here in the alliance is the alliance science, and that is going to be very helpful for everyone who's involved. Key thing you're working on the military stats, the construction stats, going all the way through, working on, you know, true investments. All that is really good for budget players, because donating every day, just killing the time when you're waiting in line, you just get on and start donating. That adds up really quickly, especially as the science gets along. You can start getting those advanced teleport packs, advanced teleports, 400,000 honor points. Actually comes quite quickly. I'd say maybe a week or two. Every other week I can get a couple, and I'm not always porting around, so I'm not always attacking a lot of people. I'm going to save them up for dragon campaigns or the kingdom conquest. Now, the alliance there side, some key fighting here is when you have big players that have the P5 castles with the SVIP 10, you can do the super rallies. Those are the key things there, because when you're doing drag campaign or other big fighting competitions, or you're just attacking somebody, when they start a rally, and you may have only a small castle, let's say you're level 30 right now, or you're like a small level 27 like I've got, it's only level 9 troops, level 8 troops with a full rally, properly layered troops. You know, you may not have, you know, prestige 5, but when you go into that rally, you're not gonna get as many kills, that's for sure, but you will do much better with the stats that everybody's gonna have, that's given by the super rally skill. So everybody's gonna have the same stats. Now, you're not going to do as well because the troops aren't the same. They're not as good. They're not Prestige 5. They won't have the bonus skills on all those levels that Prestige 5 have. But that's still going to be really useful because you're there. You're filling the rally. And that's even with other Prestige 5 castles that aren't maxed out. You don't have to max them out if one person in your alliance has. Because all you got to do is super rally. Then all your P5 troops along with those top P5 troops are just going to smash. And that can save a lot of money for people out there who don't want to spend thousands of dollars trying to keep up, because a lot of people can't. especially for a game that a lot of people play for fun. You know, and instead of buying a car or a house with the money that is invested here. Now, the next one category that's going to be really important is your farm accounts. As you see here, these are actually majority of my own farms, along with my wife's, and mixed in with some other teams, teammates. Got a lot of farms around here. I personally run 14 farms, and that is a lot for most standards. Most people may have 1 or 2. Some people get up to 4, which is what I see a lot of. The key thing here is I went for more, numbers opposed to the quality of each farm. A lot of my farms first started out as castles, so people quit playing the game, which is a really good way to get good farm castles if they're giving them away. I did not spend any money on any farms. And running and managing 14 farms is a time-consuming process. It takes me about an hour every day to go through it at a minimum, which is the next thing about farms is you have to farm every day. Now, I'm not talking about just going in and sending your troops to a resource plot, once it comes back. I'm talking about going to each and every single farm, collecting the resources, the bonus items that you get from the Kingdom Conquest events, rewards, doing the working the grind. That's all those free resources available to you. All that stuff that you're not spending money on is an asset to your main castle. Now, with the farms that I have and the amount of resources I have, I know that this will help carry me up to level 30 and then into the first levels of Prestige 1 and 2 with the amount of resources that I generate. Now, after that, hopefully with all the boosts and upgrades they've been doing with Prestige badges, I should be able to not have to worry about spending money getting higher than that. But I see even some money spenders, some allies of my own, they get stuck at Prestige 3 or 2 with the Prestige badges and trying to level everything up. But that's a struggle for later on. Now, I would at least say for most people, or especially in the New Kingdom, getting 4 farms set up, 1 for each resource, is important. Now, the next key to that is working with your team members to set up farm alliances. Now, through the lifespan of a kingdom, you'll have a lot of merges. We just merged over the last couple of days with another big alliance to be ranked number 2, which, it was a huge accomplishment, so we were already pretty close anyway. But much better alliance science, much more active players, and it'd be really helpful. Now, our old alliance is now a farm, which a lot of people are going to use. But what we have here is we, from over the many months of playing, have 1 of each resource. So I've got mithril over here, wood, iron, and then back down over here I got food right there. Now, between me and my teammates here, actually a lot of us all came from different alliances from early on in the game and came together and created a little supermine setup. We were originally rotating our main castles in between all the alliances. Now, if you don't have level 8 troops or level 9 troops in a fairly older kingdom, I wouldn't be going out and attacking people unless you're really good at it and you're experienced from months of playing at the game and already know what you're doing. But rotating your main castle through all these alliances will be a much faster way than arguing with teammates about what supermine your main alliance should use. And it's a very fast way to level up, even from like 15 up to 23. I could do it with my farms, but I'm not going to because I'm lazy. But with your main castle, your stats, depending on the situation in your kingdom and how you have your skills set up, is going to be how quickly you're going to gather resources. I constantly have my main castle set up for fighting. All of my stats are going to be set up to give me max boost in that, because I'm currently working on grinding out monsters to get materials for my armor sets, but also because I've been participating in the ancient battlefield and then working the hero tower that you get at level 23. Now going through the hero trials. I would not start grinding through this until you have some really strong skill setups, because this will wound your troops, and if you're not careful you could screw up a whole march and then fill your hospitals and be very upset with yourself. But going through this experience, working the grind, having the setup every day, I can do this because that's the way my skills are set up. Now, if you wanted to have the most experience with gathering resources, you wouldn't have all your skills set up on making these attacks to be able to do this grind. So it's going to be focused on what you want to do. At SVIP level 4, you can have the quick switch skill, so it's going to allow you to switch between two presets. One we have set, for which most people do. The main one we have one for war and combat, so you can quickly switch to it. Still costs 1,000 gold, and it will cost an extra 1,000 gold to reset one of your skill points. And some people argue, what's the point? I can just go and reset it. Well, and the key thing is, if you're going to be set in one preset, gathering resources, having what you need, working out the grind there, when you go into a battle, and you only have maybe 20 seconds before your castle gets hit, the fastest thing you can do is just hit that bottom button right here to switch it with 1,000 gold, and then instantly be ready to fight. Now, you don't have time to go and respec all of your points through that. And if you don't have a whole lot of gold available, I would try primarily sticking with one and maybe just shielding. But, if it's Prestige 5, I would just shield. But if it's somebody, the same strength as you, and you think you could fight them, you're still going to want to be ready to fight them. Key thing there with, hero on your wall. But, working out your grind with your farms that you have available, if you have enough farms with the right resources available, like if you have all the super vines at your disposal, and you don't, along with your main, I'm gathering wood right now, our main has 2 super mines, so I could do wood or mithril at this time. So let's say I wanted to focus on wood to build up my wall, I can still have my war settings to protect myself, and I have 14 farms evenly split up to gather all of my other resources. So when I go and collect all the resources from my farm castles, I won't have to worry about my main being the main source of all of my resources. And I currently gather much more than 80 pack would give me. And so these are going to two things. There would be patience to build the farms to gather the resources, or like the big money players, go out and buy those packs with the safe resources and hope they can get all that stuff. I've seen many people do it, and I get messages on my thing every day, legendary pack, and that's cool. It's really good stuff for me because those are great rewards. But the struggle is going to be like, when they're really high up there and they need 300 million resources per wood, 300 million food, it's really going to be hitting the limit there. So it's going to be up to you and budget. The more farms you have, the more access you're going to have to those resources you need without having to spend money. Alright, now the last thing I want to talk about for the budget build is going to be your skills. Now, everybody knows that research in your library is going to be very important. And it costs a lot of resources, especially once you start getting up there a little ways. With my main castle, I chose to upgrade most of my equipment really quickly to give me good stats. It's obviously not maxed out yet, but this is going to give me advantage when making my armor, which is the key to this game. This is the strategy. The armor and your skill sets is what's really going to determine how the whole game works. Now that's going to be broken down specifically a lot more in another video because there's a lot to cover in that. But your skills are something you should work out from top to bottom. Now, like me, I have many farms, so I don't continue to put much research into my farming categories here because it eventually does cost a lot of money. But I'm not going to keep researching up through this whole area, even though I could, because I'm going to put all my resources towards my military. And even though there's only 1 or 2% at a time, eventually all those things will add up, and it's important to get that. And then later on, once that's maxed out, they have the occult studies over here at the library, which I wouldn't worry about until after you've leveled everything up to level 30. Those are even smaller percentages. You got more important stuff to work on here. With the elite training and the strongest kingdom resources available, the troop boost, tough army, and then the resource gathering, which I have there, to add to the percentage points. Now the next big thing that's going to be the most important is going to be your armor. Now I don't have the best armor. I'm going to tell you that most of the things I'm going to point out in my budget videos comes from an experience, and that experience of making the wrong choices. Now I can tell you I don't mind admitting that I made a mistake. Problem is the patience to correct it or do things the right way, which is what happens when somebody rushes through things. Alright, now so you're going to work on a budget build, but the entire game works on the percentage-based boost that you have for your stats in your kingdom. If you're going to be fighting each other, it's a war game. The person with the best stats is going to win. Now, all those number crunches, there's many different videos of the best way to do it. But looking at it with a budget build, I had a bad experience going through. Everyone knows that gold armor is obviously going to be the best. I'm only level 39, so I've only got 35 equipment. I had level all 35 equipment with bronze or copper or orange, which color you refer to it as. I'm going to go with just bronze here. The stats are definitely not as good as gold. You can lose some big disadvantages, like for example my axe here. The gold variant would be almost infantry attack would be 4% higher. Both cavalry attacks would be 4% higher. All of those things do add up, and it is really important. But the problem is getting the gold resources to eventually make that axe a gold 35. Now everyone knows that, like why wouldn't you have that that bow, which gives all the archer stats, and everybody can argue about what's the best thing to have. But in my next video, I'm going to focus a lot more on the armor and the best way to go about it. And the highest recommendation that I can have for anybody is, if you're going to dismantle your armor to make a gold set, say you have some bronze and some purple, or you only got like 1 or 2 gold pieces and you don't want to make any more, the gold takes so long to make. And I had a complete gold set of only level 5, and I dismantled all of my bronze, thinking I would quickly be able to make a lot of gold armor, and I went from having fairly decent stats, not epic or anything great, but really good for the castle size that I had when I was a 26. I could stand up to a lot of strong castles. I was fighting 30s of DC all the time and standing my ground and winning battles and rallies, but the moment I dismantled all of my armor and tried to make my gold set stronger, I was way behind. I was nowhere close to what I needed, and that really hurt me bad. And it's taken uh, about a month and a half to try and get some respectable armor back into a position that is useful to me. And then, of course, not as much as access to my hero. So, how you build your armor is going to be key in my next video with the budget build that you have, because it's going to be key on the stats. And the problem with a game like this, it's more centralized on spending money on packs and making good equipment where you're going to get most of your stats from. And a key thing here is going to be the equipment sets. Now, of course, the best one that everybody's going for is Asylum set right now. It's going to give huge archer attack boosts. I have the number crunches in the next video that I'm going to do. But what you're going to have to weigh out here is if you're going to actually do the grind to gather all of the shards that you need to be able to make all of those. I'm going to tell you, I've been committed to gathering these shards, to making these blueprints, to making that armor, thinking, oh yeah, I'm just going to make that, holy set, and I'm going to have a really strong castle, but I tell you, this is taking a very long time. Very long time to build up. And in the next video, I'll show you how I grind that out every day to be the best that I can do. But budget builds, key ideas, suggestions in the comments. I want all of that. I want everybody to just, start just cramming this comment section full of points, tips, anything you want to do. But those few categories there, you have to be focused on your budget build. And the most important thing with, playing Clash of Kings here without spending money is you need to have patience. And that can be really hard in times, especially when you're being attacked or, when you want to fight in a DC event or there's a big thing going on or there's drone war, or you're so close to getting, the dragon unlocked, or you're trying to get a new hero. Patience is key. And I know from experience that not being patient, buying a pack, or going through with something is much more costly, because without the money to fix my mistake, it is set back like days and days of gathering and grinding, and it can screw up your castle if you're trying to be competitive in such a competitive, an intense war game. So please share this video with everybody in your alliance, with your friends, discuss it. I like to create the discussion. I like talking with my allies in my alliance and other people I know in other kingdoms, because there's so much to learn about this game, so much to look at. Now, a lot of it may be common knowledge. I'm going to break down the skill armor in my next video, then I'm going to have my farm breakdowns and the following video after that. And the key thing here is everybody has a different way of doing something, and then just hearing somebody out and the way they do it can show you a new perspective on how it could help you out. And then sharing your knowledge can be really helpful as well. So please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next video.